music to play during Diaghilev time. But during Diaghilev,
yeah,
Apollon was impossible. They laughed at it. How? My God, what? You know, they couldn't calculate. What awful, you know. And Prodigal Son, all the stuff was typical. Now people whistle on the street, you know.
Not always in the street.
No.
Maybe in the bathroom.
No.
Balanchine's first ballet in America was given its premiere in June 1934 on the lawn of an estate in White Plains, New York, before an audience of invited guests. The host was Felix Warburg, father of Edward, one of Kirstein's classmates from Harvard. The ballet, set to Tchaikovsky's Serenade for Strings, was danced by students from the School of American Ballet.
I started Serenade as evening classes to show how to be on the stage. I didn't have any idea to produce anything.
Attendance at rehearsals was irregular, but Balanchine made a virtue of necessity and choreographed each section for as many dances as he had that evening.
It was the summer of 1944, and back then ballet and Broadway generally didn't mix. Until the Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo was given an opportunity no other ballet company had ever had: to star in and choreograph a major Broadway show.
I can't dance, you can't dance.
It was incredible. We closed a big Broadway show with a ballet. No big thank you very much, ha-ha, and no, a ballet closed the show.
Freddie and his fiddle are at it.
The show was the Song of Norway. The stars were Frederick Franklin and Alexandra Danilova, and the choreographer was none other than the company's original ballet master, Serge Balanchine. In the 12 years since he'd left the Ballet Russe, Balanchine had bounced from ballet to Broadway, to Hollywood and the circus, working with showgirls and screen stars, ballerinas and elephants. In each case, his initial success had turned to failure, and he was now a man with few prospects.
He was doing nothing. It was over for him at the time. Mr. Denham brought him into the company. He did the choreography for Song of Norway, and during that Song of Norway, he started Danse Concertante, Bourgeois Gentilhomme, the beginning of Ballet Imperial, the beginning of Sonnambula, and Mozartiana. He wanted to get back into the ballet company again and get to where he belonged. And we were the company that he came into. We benefited from him, and then he did too.
With George Balanchine in a creative fervor and the Song of Norway a huge hit on Broadway, Denham asked Balanchine to be the company's resident choreographer.
I never heard about Balanchine in Yugoslavia, not a word. So I come to America and I am commanded that Balanchine wants me on stage pronto at 9 o'clock in the morning. And I said, yeah, who is Balanchine? He said, you don't know Balanchine? I said, no, I've never heard of him. I said, but I don't think he's a gentleman because I am a lady and I am not commanded to be pronto on anybody's stage, so you better give him that message. That was my first message to Balanchine. Not very smart, because with my kind of looks, he would have been very madly in love with me.
Balanchine's ideas were an abrupt departure for the Ballet Russe. His arrival brought sweeping changes that proved controversial with critics, audiences, and the dancers themselves.
The Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo was known for costumes, the scenery, and the music. And the Balanchine works became no costumes, no scenery, and lots of lovely music. I remember thinking to myself, this is the first time I'm going on the stage and I'm nothing. I'm just a body. I have nothing to do but go on and waltz. I don't belong anywhere. We'd never danced like this. We'd been something, a tree or a something. We'd been something.
I realized early on that I was not a Balanchine dancer. There was a certain form, even then, 43. Very long legs, shorter torso. See, even then he was starting the image he wanted in his ballerinas. Small, sleek head. Not much emotion when you dance. Don't show emotion. Your body, the steps will show what I want to show.
Balanchine is interested in the movements of the female body. He liked to make people.
Balanchine must have seen me dance because immediately I was made understudy for Danilova, and I have written in my diary how nice he is to me and this and that, and you know. And it wasn't much after that. We were up in San Francisco or something, and he asked me to marry him. I said, George, I don't love you. And he said, but that doesn't make any difference. Love will come one day. So I said, well, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. George and I were married in 1946, August 16th, 1946. I was 19, I think.
He changed her whole technique. He told her she had no technique. After the performances, we'd all retire to a very fleazy little restaurant having spaghetti after the show, and Mr. B would be there with us, and he would have a big dish of spaghetti too, and he always brought one apple with him, and that's all Maria could have, because he was getting her ready to be a ballerina, and she wasn't to put any weight on. As an artist, that was his interest, and she took it all in.
Georges Balanchine remained with the Ballet Russe de Monte Carlo for 3 successful seasons, but he was never named artistic director and had always dreamt of having a company of his own.
He wanted his way, his doing things.
He would only work if he got to be the king, or else he won't work.
Now, with Georges Balanchine's reputation on the rise, the time was right for his dream to become real. With the help of his longtime patron, Lincoln Kirstein, Balanchine made his move.
In 1947, he was leaving. He was forming a new ballet company. Tallchief, she went with him, and it became the Ballet Society.
Ballet Society was renamed the New York City Ballet, and by the early 1950s was a formidable rival in New York.